Hello everybody, and welcome to Art Talk Thursday. Now it's been a while, and the last Art Talk you saw, I had hair. Now I don't. That is because that last Art Talk and a few other ones was recorded months ago, and now we're starting up fresh again. So what's on the schedule for today? Well, today we are doing the first YouTube art critiques. We'll do that in a second. And then I'm going to be answering your questions for the latest TikTok question answering session. So first, let's get to the tutorials. I'm excited because this is the first time I'm trying it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to look at two people, 3 pieces of art between them, because you can see I already did some with the previous art thing. So let's look at Leah Womack. She says, I use an app called Autodesk Sketchbook, which I have tried before. I'm still learning how to use the brushes. I would be impressed. Did you do this with your fingers or with a actual sketching thing? Ooh, I love the colors. Okay. So first off, nice detailing. If you used your finger for these oh my god, are these stars drawn individually? This was not a brush. You can see, look at the way she went like that. These stars were all done individually. Oh my goodness, are you nuts? I love the swooshiness. Oh wow, look at the way she blended the background. I love these blues, and then the clouds and the swooshy cloud blues rising into darker and darker. Lovely, amazing, excellent. Isn't this like a neo-Nazi symbol now? That makes me sad that they took a beautiful little symbol that's just supposed to be like, okay, you did a good job, and turned it into something controversial. I'll just give you a thumbs up. Good job. Okay, so this is nice, especially considering that you are starting out, and I think that you're using your fingers, which is like hell impressive. One thing, actually, there are 3 things I want to point out that will help you. I don't mean to be a mean art critic, but let me do 3 things. So first, your sun is supposed to be the brightest point here, but this over here, if you look down on the right, this part is brighter than the sun itself. So what I might do is make the sun really bright in the middle, or at least a brighter tone, and then kind of even it out. Because yeah, you can't have, it looks almost like a giant slice of orange down at the bottom instead of the sun. Like visually I know it's supposed to be a sun, but it looks like a giant slice of orange. You know what you should do? Go find a reference. Find a reference of a sunset and try replicating that. Reference works so well and it helps teach you. So yeah, the sun is a little bit too dark considering it's supposed to be a sun. This is a tiny nitpick here, but see how your stars just suddenly stop on the edge? If you're going to add stars into something, make sure they flow naturally from edge to edge. So just, your stars are great. They have a good variety, and I like how they go all over the place. They're not consistently spaced out, which is good because stars are not consistently spaced out in the night sky. But right over here, it looks like you just were like, oh wow, this area won't have stars. So I would make sure. And last thing, your light source is down here. This is your light source. Your light source is your sun, right? It looks like you have shading on the bottom of your clouds. In this situation, to push your light source even more, make sure to shade the top of the clouds instead and add a little yellow bright line here. Or if you have a crazy purple sunset, or actually it would be more of a red-orange sunset, shade the top with purple. Because here's the thing. Your shadow color is going to be what your background color is. That's why if you go outside and look into nature, shadow colors often have a tinge of blue to them. It's because the sun is the brightest light coming down, and the sky still has a blue glow to it. It's just not as bright as the sunlight, which means that the blue glow fills in the other shadow colors. So in this situation, your brightest light point is going to be this blazing sun with probably some orange and pinks around it, right? So that means you're going to have a highlight coming down at the bottom of the clouds, and that highlight is going to be that bright orange, salmon pink, whatever you want it to be. And then you're going to have shadows on top, and your shadows are going to be bluish purple. So those are the 3 things. This is, for the first time, if you're drawing on a phone or a tablet with only your finger and you're getting used to a program, this is lovely. I especially love the blending of the background. I really, really love that it's a long format picture, and I really, really like your dispersal of stars. Those are excellent. The 3 points I'd improve on, make sure to use a reference. Make sure your sun is nice and bright. It should be the brightest thing here. And then make sure that your clouds are shaded in the correct direction. So your shadows should be on top since your light source is on the bottom. And then your shadows, and then your highlights should be golden. Good job. This is a great first picture. Instagram is Quilt Brush. So go find them on Instagram at Quilt Brush. Okay. The top one is another picture I lost due to my PC getting destroyed before I could move it to USB. I don't post much on my account, but I'd like to know how I can improve. Okay, let's do it then. First off, great posing. This is an adventurous pose, and you're trying for some really... Okay. There are lots of things going on here that are actually really good. Let me point them out to you. First off, the angle of this is good. It's the way that the cuff is opening is in the direction that it's supposed to be. So your perspective in a relatively difficult angle is pretty darn good. This is nice. Is this the same thing with this one? Okay, we're going to talk about this one afterwards. This is also really nice. You're doing good. Your body is honestly drawn extremely well. I'm not sure what these little yellow things are. They seem a tiny bit out of place. And it's good. See, okay, people who are watching, see how this outline is nice and thick? That's good. The nice thick outline in front of everything else means that this boot comes forward in perspective because he's separated it from the rear boot. So that's a good choice. This leg seems to be forward in perspective. You did that well. That's a good job. I might actually continue this line further down and add a little bit of a butt line right there. Just like if you follow my mouse, it'll go like that and then like that. Because this looks like it's just coming straight, and that makes this leg look extremely long in comparison. So just make a little like that, showing that there's a butt cheek down there. I know that you're a younger artist, you might be afraid of butt cheeks, but they're part of your anatomy and they're necessary to show people how the body that you're drawing works. These hands are frickin' fantastic. Holy crap, those hands are good. Okay, so your hands are done really well. Good job. No complaints there. It looks like you're using a mildly anime style to do this face, like these eyes. See how this eye is angled up so sharply? That wouldn't work that way. The angle of the face you're working at, okay, I'm angling my face at the same angle that your face is angling in that picture. Look where my eye is going. See how my eye is straight across? It's going downwards. Your eye is pointing upwards. And also the side of my eye is hitting the side of my face. And see, we both have this kind of cheek coming down, this bump right above our eye and then our cheekbone, and then our brow bone. You have that too. So this eye, all you need to do is kind of take it and tilt it this way. And it should look okay. This mouth too. This is a more anime styled face. Yeah, so this face needs to be reworked a little bit because the eye positioning in the mouth is a little bit awkward. But that's really my biggest critique for this. Your shadows might need a little bit help consistency-wise. This shadow is on the bottom, obviously, and then you have this shadow on the side. So your light source is coming that way. But to support that, that means that you would need to shade the inside of the hand and the inside of this thumb and along the entire edge of this shirt, and there would be a shadow coming down here and more of a shadow coming over here. Use yourself as a reference for this kind of stuff. And you also might want to throw a shadow from the hair here too then, and then one coming over here. So this is generally a very good picture. And your butt might be a little bit low. Look how low the bottom is here. So take thine bottom and shove it up to about here. That's where his legs should be positioned. Right where his belt is, that's where his butt should be. Like, right, you need to lift that entire area up because his body's a little bit long. But other than that, this is a great piece. This is good. I like this. And especially the hands. Holy crap. And you have the right instinct to put this foot forward with the thicker line. So you're using a lot of good little art techniques. This is nice. Now this one. I love this one. First off, you got a nice, strong pose. Check this out. Just bam, bam. Your legs are good. These are good legs. Again, your hands are done well. You got the anatomy done well. I think it's a lady because I see a booba. I think maybe if I had to critique one thing, because this is a strong picture. This is a really strong picture. The eyes shouldn't be this close together. Just like the previous picture, see how your other eye is popping too far upwards and starting to tilt at a weird angle? You're doing the exact same thing with this picture right here. It's too high and it's tilting at a weird angle. You need to draw a straight line across the face no matter what angle it's at. Like, even do this. Just take, if you need help with the anatomy on your face, trying to figure out where an eye should be, take a picture of your own face with something across it like this, like straight across it, And just like, no matter what the tilt, it'll show you where that other eye should be. So do that. Take those pictures before you draw your faces, just so you know where your eye anatomy should be. This hair is nice. The tones work well together. You got primaries going here. Look, yellow, red, blue. Good job. If I were you, instead of cutting this out at the feet and at the top of the head, because this picture feels crowded in this little white box, shrink the character or make the canvas larger, but don't just cut things off at the tops and the edges, because it really does, like, this character doesn't do it. This character exists beautifully in their frame. This one is kind of crowded by their frame, so I would make sure that if you're going to draw something, give it enough space within its box. But no, this one's really nice. The anatomy is spot on. You're doing good. You're doing good. Just small things. Your biggest problem I can see you need to fix is your faces. Just the eyes specifically. Make sure that the eye on the other side of the 3/4 isn't sticking upwards like this. That really draws my attention quickly. But excellent job, both of you. First 2 people to be critiqued here and published on this channel. You did good. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. If you want, fix those things or adjust them or send me new art so I can see how you're proceeding. Excellent job. Now let's answer TikTok questions. One of my kid artists is opening commissions. Badass. Okay, let's check out your questions. I did one of these a while ago. Oh, looks like my shadow ban is finally lifting a tiny bit. Yeah, I don't want to put up any good videos until my shadow ban is lifted. I have no idea what they shadow banned me over. They like shadow banning me for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm an overweight, confident, muscular girl. Okay, so here, I have your questions, and let's get to answering. This will probably be a little bit of a longer video, because there are a lot of questions this time. But let's get to it. First question is from 5 Poisonous Snakes. Why do you think that anime art is so hated on, and do you have any advice on getting better at drawing realism? Okay, Poisonous Snakes. I personally think, because I used to really dislike anime art myself, the reason I disliked it is because it was very formulaic, and it looked really good, but it could also be a step for not getting good at art. Let me explain. Anime, at least at its base, is extremely, extremely formulaic. You have a head shape, you have the eyes always have a similar shape. You know, there's a lot of structure. It's almost like you're copy and pasting different styles and shapes and languages into a single character. And the thing that makes me worry is, since it is a cartoon style, that younger artists who really like anime will start drawing anime, and then they get stuck with anime and they never really learn how to draw properly like realism. Now, this is my opinion, and not everybody will agree with it, but I think everybody should start drawing by sketching things around them and start with their bases. Anime is like the fancy top structure of a bridge, but it doesn't have any pillars if you just start straight up with that particular style. So you can start out by just drawing, the sharp chin and then the big eyes and everything. And, you've seen some kind of bad anime art online, I'm guessing. And I have a feeling it's because those people want to emulate specifically that style, but they're not learning their structure underneath of it, like anatomy, color theory, how to draw movement, how to draw emotion. They're relying on these kind of predetermined shapes. And that's why I used to get grumpy when I was a younger artist, because I've been drawing since I was 4 years old, and most of that was learning how to draw on my own. I'm horrible at drawing anime. I just can't do it. The shape language, I'm betting I could learn how to do it, but I just can't do it. Maybe that's a reason some people dislike it. Okay, let me TDLR, too long read. Ew. Too long didn't read. Let me TLDR this. I think people don't like anime because a lot of young artists really enjoy the style, but they don't realize how much work goes into learning how to draw before people adopt that style, and so they jump straight to the style. And the thing is, the style can look good. Somebody's driving up that hill in first gear. That style can look pretty darn good. And it's almost like how some people view digital art. They think it's cheating. It's really not. The thing, if it might be a traditionalist thing. Some people just want people to learn from the initials, from the beginnings. Personally, I want people to do that, not so they can go through the same pain I did, but because I'm so much of a better artist nowadays because I did it. just learning the basic principles of art is so important. And if you jump straight into a cartoon style, you're not really going to learn them until way later, and it's going to be a lot harder to learn things like realism. Your other part was, do you have any advice on getting better at drawing realism? Practice. I know you probably don't want to hear that answer, but it's definitely practice. Look at things around you. Take a pen, for instance. Grab like a freaking highlighter and put it on your desk. Get some light on it, like tilt your phone and put its light on, shine it on, and try drawing that. First, you're going to start with your outline, right? Don't make it too dark. When you're drawing realism, do not use dark outlines. Just nice, light, sketchy outlines. Try getting its shape down. And then see where the dark and the light falls, and shade in the dark first, and then put in your highlights and details. I actually am going to be, I was literally, after I recorded Tutorial Tuesday for tomorrow, because I'm recording this Monday, I actually was going to be doing a tutorial on realism. So not this week, but this coming week, this coming Tuesday, that tutorial on realism will be popping up. So I'm going to show you, to the best of my ability, the starting steps on drawing realistically. And I will be doing it digitally, but I'll be doing it traditional digitally. I'll be using like only pencil tools and stuff in Procreate. So yeah, how to draw realism is a very loaded question, and I will try to explain it the best I can through that tutorial. So watch out for that. That should be up on like, the bread of God is bread. So tomorrow is going to be the 5th. It should be up on the 12th of January. Sam Hoover Art is asking, can you give me tips for getting to a point where you have a steady full-time income from your art? Self-discipline. That's actually where I lack. I know I definitely have the skill level to be a full-time artist, but you have to find your client base, which means posting regularly on social media. TikTok has been great for this for me. I have literally never asked people, hey, I have my commissions open, do you want to buy something from me? But considering my base, I could probably be a full-time artist on that. But you have to have your connections, more than anything. If you just post yourself up on a job site or something and say, hi, I can do art, you're going to be invisible. You have to post, you have to interact with other artists. You really need to reach out and get your social media huge. That's a massive thing. You absolutely need to have a wide network and array of people. And honestly, self-discipline is massive, because I have like 3 or 4 different art jobs I'm supposed to be doing right now, and I haven't touched them for like a week. So if you can if you turn in your work on a consistent basis, then your clients will be like, wow, dang, this person's good. I like what they're doing, and then bring back in. So the other thing you can do to have a living income from your artwork is joining a company. Like American Greetings, for instance, becoming a commercial artist. So if you, honestly, becoming a commercial artist and applying for an art company that just produces art is way easier. I mean, you don't have as much control over what you can do, but it's a consistent income. So those are your 2 options. Self-discipline and widening your array and advertising yourself, or joining a company and having them pay you a base rate. Those are the general 2. Fudge Cube is asking, how do you make brushes and what brushes do you use the most? This is how you make brushes. Okay, so here we go. When you make a brush, you're going to go into your brush library, and let's go down to like inking. I don't know what I was doing in Technical Pen 1, but we're going to edit this one. So tap on Technical Pen 1 once, and you're going to get into the editing screen. So now you have stroke path, taper, shape, grain, rendering, wet mix, color dynamics, Apple Pencil stuff, properties, and then about this brush, where you can literally just, whoa, sign it. So there are so many different settings to work with. Now, I'm only talking about specifically Procreate, but honestly, Photoshop works the same. I don't know about Autodesk Draw or whatever, and IPIS Paint. I will be doing something with IPIS Paint. But specifically when you're in Procreate, this is how this layout works. You have your testing zone right here, and it lets you test what kind of brushes you're going to be working with. It lets you test new applications to your effect. And then I'm going to clear this right now. So right now, this is what our technical pen looks like. This is a very, very standard technical pen. Now, if you're going to increase the spacing,
it's going to start looking like this. The spacing is just the little dots that make up the regular technical pen. And so usually technical pen is on none. What about streamline? You can actually see what it does to your pen right over here as you move it around. So let's get a line here so we understand what's going on. What about jitter? Whoa, it's exploding like a bunch of stars. You know, you could make a star brush with this. Look at that. Oh my god. Did I just discover how to make a star brush for snow? I honestly don't work with this very often. Okay, so if I push harder, these get bigger, and if I do teeny bits, they're smaller. Okay, so now we know what that is. We know that jitter can make a snow brush. Holy crap. I literally never screw around with this kind of stuff. So you and I and all of us are experiencing this for the first time. So I'm gonna make a heart that's broken because I just found out that a job I was applying to was actually a phishing scam. Wow, look how like freaking this person's going off the rails because wow, a phishing scam to come after artists? Who would have thought? Okay. So what's fall off? I have no idea. Okay, the fall off looks like it's what's coming at the end edge of the stroke. And so this is literally all that brush editing is. Look what we're doing right now, right here. Taper refers to the beginning of the stroke and or the end of the stroke, like how they fall off. Let's put the taper down to nothing and let's make a line. See, it's bulky at the top and the bottom. Now let's put it all the way on and it turns slim like it's normally supposed to be. You have size, opacity, pressure, tip animation, touch taper. I actually don't know what that is. Here's the fun part. Shape. So the shape source for this technical pen is just this, you know, kind of circular thing. Now let's change the shape source. You can either import it from your photos or you can look at the source library. Let's import it from the photos and hope I don't have anything inappropriate. Okay, it doesn't look like I have anything inappropriate. Let's make my lentil soup into a source photo. So we're going to do done and we're going to go do import. Shape editor, done, I'm guessing. Okay, so now this is the base of this shape. And since it's just generally a wide-edged square, it's making a wide-edged square shape. And now all of the effects of the technical pen are actually, you know, affecting this. We're going to clear this up. Okay, what's next? So, okay, wait, let's make a few lines just so we can blah, 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 blah. And what about, I think there's a way to add a secondary shape. Where'd it go? Grain. There it is. Okay. Texturized. Okay, wait. Edit. Import. Let's import a file. Actually, no. Never mind. Let's not import a file. Go away. Go away. Cancel. Let's import a photo. What shall we use? Lentil soup. So this is both our texture and everything. I actually don't know what this is going to do to it. Lentil soup has now become a brush texture. This is actually a really neat looking brush. I cannot believe it, but lentil soup is making a really good brush. Let's increase the scale. So now you can see the lentil soup and the beautiful beans in the background. And now you decrease the scale and it makes it less. I might actually end up using this. This is a very interesting brush. Look at all that lentil soup. Lentil soup! Okay. Depth, I don't know what that is. I guess that's just the text. What about rotation? Oh, we're rotating the lentil soup now. Zoom! That looks very similar to scale. Okay. You can literally just funk around with all of this. Texturized. Lentil soup! Okay. So that's what texturized does. That's what moving does. So you can literally just have clouds as your source image instead. What would happen? Okay, we're not going to do what would happen. This is supposed to be a quick one. Rendering, so you have intense glaze, heavy glaze. You know, you have all these different blending modes that you can work with. There's so much you can do. I think I'm going to keep my lentil soup at heavy glaze. Wet mix. I honestly don't know much what these are. Ooh, I am scaring my iPad. I'm not going to scare my iPad. Color dynamics is like what you find if you go into the Nebula brush. It's what makes things multicolored. It's actually a pain in the ass. Dynamics, same thing. So that's generally how you make a brush. Those are the basics. And honestly, there's so many settings that I would invite you to just go and experiment it with on your own. There's just so many things you can do. Now, as for my favorite, wow, look at all that lentil soup. Sorry, I got distracted. As for my favorite brushes, we're going to go to my favorites. There's sketching brush, which is basically just a 6B pencil. I use this for sketching. Ballpoint 1 is good for highlights and shading like or accentuating the sides of trees and comics. It's just, this is a brush I actually did develop for myself, and it's just supposed to emulate a ballpoint pen. What else is there? Line art brush. Here, let's go to black. This is simply technical pen. Let's clear this layer because it's getting wacky. Clear layer. Hello? Let me clear you. Let me clear you. Okay, clear. There we go. And then hard airbrush is literally just hard airbrush. Very good for erasing. Grass. I forget. This is reed. This is the reed brush, and I really, really enjoy it because it has a slight texture to it, but it acts very much like the technical pen. Anaponic layering brush. I forget exactly what this is, but it's in the inking section. And look at that beautiful texture you get. This is great for special effects. And then Webtoon text lines. Again, this came from the inking area, and I forget exactly what it is. I typically label things as what I use them for. Shale brush is actually just the shale brush. Yep, very self-explanatory. I use that for highlights. Same thing with comic highlights brush. This used to be the chalk brush, and so now this is what I do for dramatic comic highlights, as the name would suggest. Watery strokes brush was in the water section. Very, very self-descripted. Very good shading brush. Man, look how this blends. It blends so beautifully. Holy crap. Okay, then Larapuna is just what it says. This is really great for shading textures in, like rock, stuff like that. And I don't know what the source image for that was. Nico Roll is just Nico Roll. Very good for coloring things in en masse or shading. What else do I have? Round brush is just round brush. This is a round brush I edited. Go to your original round brush, and then add that shape texture. It should be in Procreate's library, because the round brush right now just acts like an airbrush with lowered opacity. Jagged brush, one of my all-time favorite brushes. This is amazing for texturing, painting. It mixes almost. It's a great brush to use. Use this brush if you want to get into texture. It's also amazing for blending. Let's see, what else do we got? There's so many, I'm sorry. Tamar, Spectra, Plimsoll, ink on parchment. I forget exactly what this brush is, but it looks exactly like ink on parchment, which is why I labeled it as such. Salamanca is, I don't know. I like it for background and for faking fabric and paper. Old Beach is just Old Beach. Another nice one. Very good for skies. Tree brush, I think this was Taralea, and I use it to make trees and bushes. Very good for foliage. There we go. Desert texture brush. This should be in organic textures, I think. It's very much just, texture. Water rippling. This was a dry oil brush of some sort, and I use it to smooth the water to make it look like it's rippling. Rock brush. This should be, this is literally just a giant rock texture. It should be in your like organic or natural textures. Color field brush. This is actually the marble brush, and if you use it with color, it'll make this really cool kind of iridescent effect, and so I like using it for magic. Membrane is membrane. Stickman is stickman. I have not figured out what to use that for yet. Nebula is nebula. Little stars is actually driven snow, and glow brush is just the glow brush. So yeah, there you have it. These are my, actually this is the wrong way. These are my favorite brushes to use for when I do stuff. Haha! There you go. Thank you so much.
It's asking, what programs do you use to edit any videos? I specifically only use, actually no, I use a set of like 3 programs now that I think of it. I use my iPad to screen record to do tutorials and stuff. I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my videos, and that's on this computer. And I use something called Bandicam to record the screen like I am right now. It also lets me like take this and put it on the upper left in case I'm doing my gaming. And then I use something called HandBrake, and that helps me encode videos. So those are the four programs I use. All-time favorite piece you've done by Procrastinator2444. How dare you ask that question? I have too many that I like. Seriously, I have too many. Here are a few that I really like that I've done. Bam, 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 bam. There. I don't have an all-time favorite piece. And some of them that I really like are emotionally inappropriate and I can't put them up. And by that I mean like they're very intimate and kind of naked. It's not like sex or anything, but it's like, wow, YouTube could ban me for that kind of thing. Or not ban, but it would have to be 18 plus. Because it's like, wow, they don't have many clothes on and they're being very huggy. And I literally just mean huggy. But it's like, it could be taken out of context. And it's because in the PIRANTINA books, the Magi, the really tall, colorful people, whoa, 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 like these people, their intimacy comes from emotions completely. And they don't wear clothes because they don't have any genitals or anything. They don't have physical copulation. Is that how you call it? I forget. Yeah, they don't reproduce like humans or animals do. They're given little children by their gods. And so when they get huggy with each other, it's literally just two giant naked creatures getting huggy and showing each other appreciation. And that comes through in my images, but to another person, they have no freaking clue what's going on, and they just see giant, weird, fantasy alien people who are naked getting huggy. And I'm like, wow, I can't put that up on YouTube. Maybe a tiny blink of one? There. Tiny blink of one. Sleepy Peach 720 is asking, how do you get better at drawing legs? Help, please. Big eyes emoji, crying, and 2 purple hearts. That will be one of the Tutorial Tuesdays. How about that? I think we have a Tutorial Tuesday for next week already. How about the week after that? Come back on the 21st. How to draw legs. That's going to be what we do on the 21st. Just for you, okay? HRAM Exozone asks, what inspires you? And what do you game, fellow artist and gamer? Nature inspires me. The wonder of what's out there in space inspires me. What I don't have inspires me. And by that, I'm not talking about cars and money. I'm talking about freedom. We're very free as humans, right? But I want to fly. I want to get off this planet. I want to see what's out there in the universe. There's so much that I don't know. And that's what inspires me. Because when you don't know something, your brain fills in the blanks. That's all that my creativity is. I know exactly what's happening here on Earth, and we have a bunch of documentaries and news pouring in our brains every single day. But what isn't happening on Earth? That's what inspires me. And what do you game? I like Among Us, Phasmophobia, the entire Doom series, Amnesia, Team Fortress, Forza. I generally like shooters. I like fantasy shooters, fighting games. Not like fighting against another player. I'm not picky with the games I like playing. I have a very wide array. I'm going to be uploading a few here and there. Right now, I'm playing Getting Over It, and it is the worst decision I've made in a long time. But, I have a wide array of things I like doing. The McRib is back again, is asking me something in Russian. Translate. Do you speak Russian? No, I don't. But I can understand a small amount of Czech. Oh, and my mother replied, no. She said, нет, но я ема мать, я говорим немножко. Я родилась в Czechoslovakia. What I'm guessing that's saying is no, she does not something. She understands a bit of Czech. That's what I'm getting out of that. Oh, and the Tiny Dino 321 says hello. Hi there. Caitlin Ebert 3 is asking, what kind of houseplants do you have? I have a Majesty Palm, 2 pothos plants, 3 Dracaena marginatas, 1 magenta something. It looks like a very big version of the Dracaena, except it has pink in its leaves. A peace lily, some other kind of weird lily, a ton of succulents. Ooh, a huge amount of water plants in my fish tank. Snake plant, spider plant, basil, rosemary, oregano, and probably more than I'm forgetting. I have a lot of plants. I have a dead tomato plant downstairs. EarMyPod 2016 is asking, can you tell a deep secret of yours? I don't care if it's random. A deep secret of mine. I'm trying to think of one. I'm actually a very open person. I tell you guys most of everything. I talk to my car like it's a real person because I'm lonely. His name is Alti, and I give him a pat on the bonnet and thank him for giving me a good drive every time we go out. And sometimes if we go over a pothole really hard, I'll say, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And literally, like, it's a Miata. It's a Mazda Miata, and it has a manual, and it's an extremely fun car to drive. And so it makes me happy after driving it because I'll have a bad day, and then I'll be like, let's go, buddy! And after a drive, I'll park it, and I'll pat it on the hood and say, thank you so much, buddy. That was an excellent drive. You make me so happy. And I'll go inside feeling happy because I said good things to my car. I really like my car. Artsy Luna commented, eee. I'm gonna comment back, okay. Shinamami's asking, I see a pull-up bar in your doorway. Can you do a pull-up? I cannot do a pull-up yet. Special Sadie is asking, have you ever tried realism or making a super detailed person to look like a real-life people? Yes, I have. Here we have Yadalon. This took me 5 hours. Ella Pearl is asking, what is the hardest thing for you to draw and how do you work with the struggle of that thing? Ella, I'm very bad at 2 things when it comes to drawing. Monkeys and anime. The way I deal with them is I do not draw monkeys or anime. Brooke the Tall Girl 3 is saying, Prime Artist! The bird that are at 88 Cats is asking, when did you start getting interested in digital art and why? I began getting interested in digital art probably around the age of 12. So that's 13 years ago. Oh my god. So somewhere around like 2007 or 2008. I was watching YouTube videos of speed paints. And there's a guy, Psychra, I think his name was. There was a YouTube artist called Psychra, and he had some really cool, high fantasy realism digital art. And I would watch his speed paints and see how he did it, or she, I don't know. And another one called Chris Capp. I would watch their speed paints, and I was like, wow, digital art. What could I do with that? Because I like regular art, but what could I do with digital art? And of course, I didn't have access to anything that would let me do digital art. You guys these days are very lucky. You can do it on your phone. You can grab like a bamboo tablet for like $15 used, or you can get an iPad, and it has all the preloaded stuff. Back when I was your age, we didn't have all that technology. So what my parents did, I think it was for my 13th birthday, something like that, is actually it might have been for my 12th. No, or 16th. It was either my 13th or my 16th birthday. They got me a Wacom Intuos 4. And my sister cried because she was jealous. And I hooked it up to a rattly old computer, and it came with some sketch program. I forget what it was called. And this is the art that I made. I think this is the first piece of digital art I ever made. And then when I was 16, I made this. I would have to look at the publication dates on my DeviantArt to understand when I did this. What were they? Here. This is when I did it. This was done using the techniques I saw Chris Caff using, and I was very proud of that. And I continued using this tablet for ages. And I just found that digital art was easier to work with because you could get more effects out of it. It wasn't the same, though. Like, it was really difficult learning early on. And I continued going at it, though, and now I'm at the stage that you guys see me at. And now I use an iPad Pro. The next big step up would have been a Cintiq tablet, but that's like $2,000, and I don't have that kind of money, nor did my parents. So yeah, that's how I got into digital art, and that was some of my early work. Alex Siljanoska, what or who inspires you? Already went over that. Nothing, just Archie's asking, why did you start art or becoming an artist? Never had a choice in it. I just had to draw. At a certain point in my life, like coming out of high school, I thought I was going to be an engineer, or my parents, I guess, were aiming for me to become an engineer, but in their depths of their soul, they knew that I was going to be an artist. I never had a choice in this. It's who I am. It drives me. There are colors and images and scenes and stories playing through my head constantly. I can't get away from it. It's who I am. 20 Lion Wishes 09 is asking, when did you need to start taking antidepressants? Like the first time you needed to take them? I started taking them a few months ago. My grandpa died. I lost one of my closest friends because he turned out being a jerk. And I moved into this apartment and it wasn't done yet, and I didn't have any money. I was in a bad situation. So I was like, wow, I really need antidepressants. And so, God, when did I start taking them? I think I started taking them mid to late October. And then I quit them about a week ago, actually. Because they sucked away my ability to do art. And honestly, they did their job. They stopped me from killing myself, and then they took away my soul, so I stopped taking them. And now I'm back to myself, and it feels amazing. And I'm in a good psychological situation, and I'm no longer depressed. So everything worked out lovely. Weird Haven is asking, why do you like art so much? That's a good question. Why do you like breathing so much? It's in my biology. I can't help it.
I have to do art.
Crafty Lightbulb 1 is asking, what is the best thing in your house? Obviously, you're looking at it. Actually, I don't know. What is the best thing in my house? Probably my pet snake. I love her so much. She's such a little sweetie pie. I also have my sister and my cousin in my house right now. Those might be the best things in my house. I love them to death. So really, there's like a ton of different things that I enjoy in my house, and I can't really give you an answer. Where did you get the idea for your webtoon? The book I wrote 3 years ago, which has been in my head since I was like 5. The person who asked that was Labby Lady Art. Okay. Makalimane0 is asking, who is your anime crush? Okay, so first, there's Kakashi. Then, there's Ukitake Jushiro. And then, there's Sephiroth. If you give me a tall, mysterious, kind, weathered man with no beard and long silver or white hair, then I'm undoubtedly going to have a crush on them. That's just how I work. Then the last question by Peanut7409 is, okay, but can you, like, paint the airbender arrows on your head, lol? I really want to see that. Ha! So thank you guys for joining this this art talk. This was a long one, yes, because I had to do some of your critiques too, and it was great. But yeah, hopefully I answered your questions. You guys now have 2 custom Tutorial Tuesdays and 2 custom Art Talk Thursdays coming up for you. And you let me be silly. I'll be doing another one of these in a few months, maybe. If you like this sort of content and the artsy goofiness, I invite you to subscribe. It helps me a lot. Share it with all your art buddies. I like being able to interact with you guys. If you want your art critiqued, send it to this email. If you have stupid, silly art memes you want me to see, send it to this email. Or if you're here for Art Block Friday and you just follow along and draw with the prompt, send it to this email and I will show it at the beginning of the next Art Block Friday. So thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you. Drink your water, get your sleep, believe in yourself, follow your dreams. I love you, and I will see you on Friday. Bye-bye.